All right, Griffin students, welcome back. This is our first Wildcat Wellness since break. We hope everyone had a great break, spent time with friends and family, ate well, got some rest, and are ready to focus on school until Christmas time. This is a great little stretch of school where if you put that work in, you bring those grades up, and maybe you get rewarded for the holidays. We'll see. That kind of depends on you. But so today we're actually focusing on a very important subject area, which is math, which has a direct correlation to success in high school. Math is, it has both the reading and the arithmetic aspects of it. And, since we're here now in December, I think we do got to focus in. So we're going to get started on this. But before we do, we would like everyone to pull out a piece of paper because we're gonna give you a lot of good information about some resources, about some test taking strategies, and about some positive statements, positive thinking that we think is really, really beneficial to students in their academic career and in a life outside of school. So everyone should be pulling out a piece of paper to take notes on. But while you do that, it is December 1st. So students, if you find yourself cold in the math room, I think there is something you can do to help yourself out. I don't know if I set it up great, but if it's cold in the math room, something you can do is if you go to the nearest corner, it should be about 90 degrees over there.
No way. That's awesome.
We try, students. We try.
That was awesome, Mr. McCaffrey.
All right, so we're going to get this lesson started. Again, jot some notes down because there is some good information here, students. And if you are struggling in math, which let's be honest, we know some of you are, not only the resources in this counseling lesson, but the resources your teachers have given you, okay, those are valuable. And your teachers are invaluable. They will help you overcome your obstacles and climb that hill. It takes perseverance, it takes focus, and it takes a team. And we're part of that team. Your teachers are, even your family, your friends, everyone's part of your team. If you're willing to ask for help, then you'll receive some help from your team. So as we get into this, we want to start with an opening circle. And teachers, we're going to share, each of the counselors will share a career, and then you can pause it and have this discussion with your students and see what kind of careers they can come up with. So I'll start us off, opening circle. Career that uses high level math that's been an interest to me, and I was a math kid. I enjoyed math. Is the advanced statistics and sports, and it's become a very lucrative job, and both in football, basketball, and it started in baseball. Advanced stats has become a position within the organization that's very valuable. So they obviously use a lot of math, and that's something that I think was really cool. So Ms. McFadden.
So one other job that uses math quite a bit is a bank teller. So I was a bank teller when I was in college, and I think it's a really cool job because you're around a lot of money and you're learning different things about how things work, how to balance out at the end of the day. You don't want to be out of balance. So it's a really cool job where you can learn so much about math and really learn to appreciate math. So yes, bank teller, that is my chosen career that falls under math. What about you, Dr. Richardson?
Well, thank you for asking, Ms. McFadden. My chosen career that I thought uses math is one that you may not really think about math when you think about this career. It's a chef. And a chef makes these delicious meals, but they have to know about timing. They have to know about fractions. They have to know about proportions, because think about it. If you're making this meal, it may look great, but if you misread a teaspoon and you did a tablespoon, you're going to get a different taste. So it's really important to understand math, fractions, proportions, all of that if you're interested in being a chef. And now we're going to hear from Miss Mejia.
Hey, everybody. So I was thinking a really cool career that involves math is architecture. So if you're an architect, you actually will design buildings that we live in, you design buildings that we work in, or even schools that we learn in. And it is how cool it would be to know that you designed a building, and it has to be safe, and it has to be beautiful and functional. And I think it's just a really cool career. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you, counselors. We'll move along, students.
So while we're moving along, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to take out your pre-test, your paper. Okay, so teachers, you can pause the video as your students try to locate their pre-test. So let's look at the pre-test. Okay, so let's think about question number 1. Think about math. How do you rate yourself? Circle 1. So let's look at the staircase, and we need to think about where we are in math as of today. Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2, I want you to name a test taking strategy, something that you can think of. Okay. And the next question, change this negative statement into a positive statement. Okay. I never do well in math on math tests. And the positive statement will be, and give us a positive statement about a math test. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to fill out the pre-test. All right, this next slide, we're gonna look at a cool video where it's going to give us some tips on how to remember stuff for exams, okay? So we're gonna watch this really cool video and you're gonna tell us what you think.
The brain is like a sieve. We can add information and knowledge, but more often than not, it's just going to drip out. It's not your fault, it's just the way we are. Unless you're like Eric here. He has a photographic memory, so nothing escapes his brain. Well, that's great for Eric and all, but what about you? Because our brains are like sieves, this means we constantly need to keep topping them up. That might sound like a pain, but if we let it go and don't bother filling them up, it will just dry out. Like Emily over there. She stopped filling up her brain and she's pretty annoyed right now.
Don't be sad, Emily. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, Emily, don't be sad.
Quiet, Eric.
But I forget everything they teach me.
Well, you've just got to keep listening, keep trying, and never give up.
So, Emily does what anyone would do after a motivational speech like that and works harder in school. Things don't happen straight away, but by continuously filling up her brain with knowledge and information, Emily does start to remember the things she learns. And that sieve-like brain of hers isn't letting out as much.
Nice one, Emily.
Thanks, mate. Hey, Eric, do you want to sit with us now?
Yes, thank you.
A really cool video.
Okay, guys. So
If you'd like to memorize 10 times faster, this video will show how.
Sorry about that.
So we learned about how to remember stuff for exams, keep filling up our brain, don't ever stop learning. Now we're going to learn about the power of positive thinking and how that can really turn things around, especially in math.
With very different mindsets began reflecting after class. Two students with very different mindsets began reflecting after class one day about their upcoming final exam. The first student, Sophie, thought to herself, I want to get an A on the exam. I'm going to study as much as I can so that I will be able to answer every question. I'm going to ace this exam. And so she did. The second student, Jack, thought to himself, there is no way that I will be able to do good on this exam. Even if I study as hard as I can, I'll probably just forget everything during the exam anyways. I never do well on exams, so why would I expect to do well on this one? I'm going to flunk this exam. And so he did. After the exam, Jack is clearly upset. He just can't seem to figure out what he's missing. Despite the amount of time he spends studying, he can still never seem to get the grades he wants. Sophie comes over and tries to explain to Jack that by thinking so negatively, he's automatically setting himself up for failure. Jack was shocked. All this time, he hadn't even been aware that he was doing this. From then on, he began preparing for exams with a positive attitude, and sure enough, he finally got the grades he wanted. Have you ever had a similar experience to Jack?
Created using Powtoon.
So, guys, I know.
Yes, sir.
You.
Now my whole house is.
Hold on, guys. Here we go.
Autoplay. It's autoplay.
No, that's okay. That was funny though, guys, right? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta have some humor in life, man.
Totally, especially with math.
And I love the way we just bring it around after making a little mistake, you know.
Yeah,
guys.
one mistake.
Growth
We got
mindset.
got a positive attitude, right? Okay, so let's look at this rainbow. The rainbow is the bridge to help you change your mindset. So we're going from negative to the positive, just like we saw in that video. The young man that was thinking negative and getting bad grades in math, he was totally talking himself out of good grades. He thought he would never do well. And then the positive girl was saying, hey, you know, you can study all you want, but if you're going to say negative things to yourself, you're going to, you know, have anxiety about this test. You're not going to do well. You got to be positive. So this is what we want you to do. We want you to practice right now. You're going to be thinking the negative. Oh, can you click the button again, Mr. McCaffrey? Because we've got the, there we go. Can you do it again? There we go. And again, and again. So the negative thought is, I will never do well on a math test. And I bet a bunch of us could probably raise our hands right now and say, everybody, counselors, can you raise your hand? And probably, well, Mr. McCaffrey did well in math. So you can probably say, I will never do well on this math test. So we got to turn it around, guys, right? It's a common thing that we think to ourselves, but we got to be nice to ourselves and pay attention to how we talk to ourselves. If you talk yourself out of doing well, you're gonna fail. So negative statement is, I'll never do well on math tests. So it's your turn right now. Write down a positive statement about a math test. What will your positive statement be? What would you say to your best friend that was freaking out about a math test? You'd probably say, don't worry, you got this. You got this. You're going to be able to do it. Just keep going through it and you'll be fine. So think of a positive statement, write it down right now. And that's growth mindset, guys. You're switching the negative to the positive.
Students, that growth mindset, I'm sure you see it in your teachers' rooms. It's a powerful, powerful term. And teachers will speak on it too. If you can approach things with a more positive mindset, it can change how you prepare and how you focus. So this is a powerful, powerful message.
Okay.
But Dr. Richardson, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So test taking strategies. This is some concrete ideas that we have here. And guys, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but we're giving you things that are within your control. We're giving you strategies. You can control whether or not you have a growth mindset or not. And you can control whether or not you have a positive attitude. You can control what you spend your time on. Are you watching TV or are you reading a book? Are you gaining knowledge or are you just watching or viewing or not participating? So you guys can control that. Well, now we're going to give you some strategies. As you can see on the right of the screen, it says relax. It's like read the question carefully, then reread the passage or problem. Examine every answer choice before you choose your answer. L for label your answer. Look for the proof in the passage and underline it. Labeling is very important. A is always check your work. And X is X out answers that you know are wrong. And guys, do you see anywhere on here the letter F, which means fast? No, you do not see the letter F because you do not get points for being the first one finished on a math test. Actually, I have read and heard that people who take the longest on a math test actually do the best. So I want you guys to start thinking about that. So we're going to watch this video, and I know you have the pre-test, and I think I'll hopefully turn it over and it's got the post-test on the other side. But on your sheet of paper, I would really want to encourage you to write down some of these strategies. Remember, relax, what that stands for. And also we're going to give you about 12 strategies. Really watch this video, pay attention, and pick one or two that you can start doing today to improve your math grade, because this is within your control.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, Test Taking Tips and Strategies. In this video, we're going to outline 12 of the most effective strategies to find success on any exam or standardized test. So let's quickly get to the first strategy, which is to glance over the test. Glancing over the exam lets you see the big picture of what you will encounter as you progress through the assessment. Next, you should calculate the allotted time for each question. For example, if you have 1 hour to complete a 50-question exam, then you'll have a little more than a minute for each question. Calculating the time is important, as the clock is one of your biggest enemies. The next strategy is to answer the easy questions first. The obvious reason for doing this is to ensure you get as many questions right before the time runs out. If you have already glanced over the test, you'll quickly be able to identify the easy questions. On to number 4, which is to read the questions carefully. Beware for words like always, never, not, sometimes, and many others. Remember, these tests look to trick you. Take the time to fully understand exactly what it is they are asking and exactly what it is they want to do. Also, read all the answer choices. Continuing on, you should rephrase the question so to understand what is being asked. So you begin with the question item. Take some time to process the information and rephrase that question in your mind. With the question specifically rephrased for you, it'll be much easier to answer. On to number 6, pace yourself. Running out of time is one of the biggest mistakes you'll make because you may not be able to answer the questions that you actually know. Just the same, you shouldn't hastily answer all questions as quickly as possible. The test is not a sprint, more like a well-paced marathon. On to strategy number 7. Have the proctor clarify unclear questions. Yes, proctors and teachers are there to make sure no one is cheating, but they are also there to answer questions. Don't hesitate at all in asking to explain something. They'll help explain the meanings of certain words in the assessment. Number 8, you have to keep your eyes on the time. It's very easy to lose track of time. Good teachers and proctors will continually remind you how much time is left. However, this isn't always the case. So be responsible and check the time for yourself. The next strategy up is to anticipate the correct answer before looking at the answer choices. So first think for a second about what the answer to the question is. In math, first work out the problem, then take a look at the answer choices to see if any of them match what you figure is the correct answer. Now, on to number 10, which is to draw diagrams when necessary. If you're having some trouble conceptualizing information, drawing a diagram can add some clarity. This works specifically well for math word problems. Something as easy as a flowchart can make a real difference. Coming near the end here, another strategy is to circle keywords. In almost all cases, you're allowed to write on the test, even if the answer is provided. So identify and circle those keys. Don't be afraid to write up and down and all over the test. And on to the last test taking strategy. Use whatever time you have left to go back and review your answers. I mean, what are you going to do anyway? Sit around and just wait? Go back and look over your answers. You'll be surprised to find some mistakes here and there. And better you find the mistakes than the grader. Right now.
Okay. So I think it would be kind of cool right now if you guys, maybe as a class, discuss some of those strategies. I hope you wrote them down. I know I picked out a few that have always helped, that have helped me. One is glance over the test. That way I know. I always felt that always calmed me down because I knew those easy ones would kind of jump out at me, and then I felt that would actually calm me down. So those are some math test taking strategies for you guys to use. And remember the word relax. Remember what those words stand for. So we'll go on to the next slide. And again, now what we're going to do here is before I talk about this post test, I just want you guys to realize again, like I mentioned before, and I think all the counselors have mentioned, all of this is within your control. We're not teaching you how to do math, but we're teaching you some very important tools that will improve your math grade. They are proven, research-based, positive attitude, filling your mind with knowledge, and actually using some strategies will improve your math grade. So now what we're going to do is we want to be sure that you guys take your post test. And after you've completed your post test, you're going to do the stare. You're going to write down a strategy that you learned today. And then you're going to change a negative thought about math into a positive. We want to make sure that you have gained some knowledge today. So leave your paper on your desk and a counselor will come by and collect it. Okay, so everybody leave that paper on your desk. So while you're doing that, we're going to have something very relaxing and to help you, because one of the things that you need to do is when you're taking a math test, you got to calm yourself down, calm your brain down. So you have that ability to go to the frontal lobe, which is your thinking, your logical section of your brain. And that's what's really going to help you during a math test. So good luck, guys.
You can do it.
Melting, melting, melting. We all have those moments when we freeze. We can't move. We can't think. But with practice, we can get good at melting that frozen feeling. Let's freeze up and then melt. Stand up in a spot with a little space around you. Cross your arms and hold your shoulders with your hands. Carefully tuck your chin down and in. Tighten as many muscles in your body as you can. Let your body be frozen like an ice statue. Feet tight, legs tense, belly tight, shoulders up. Now, even make a frozen face. Close your eyes, your mouth, your jaw, tight. Feeling frozen? Really still? Now, little by little, begin to melt. Let your chin stay low as your face softens and melts. Your jaw opens slightly, your eyes blink open, just a little. Your mouth and cheeks melt and feel soft. You're melting. Let your shoulders melt and go down. Hands let go. Arms glide down to your sides, melting. Let your legs melt too. Soften and bend. Melt. Try to melt all the way to the floor. Down, down, down. Let yourself be a blob, a puddle on the floor. Melted all the way to soft. Exhale long. Once frozen and tight, and now melted, a little more at ease. Let's do it again. This time, choose your own frozen statue. Be creative. Freeze your arms. Freeze your legs. Freeze your face. Make a funny face if you'd like. Freeze there. Tighten. Freeze, freeze, freeze. You're frozen. Close your eyes or keep them open. Stay frozen for just one more moment. Ready to melt? One icy part of you at a time begins to melt. Face, eyes, jaw, head, chin goes down, shoulders drop, fingers soften and droop, hands too, arms float down. You are melting. Let your legs allow you to melt down to the floor. Melt, melt, melt. Droop, settle, and rest. Melted. Try to feel at ease here. Soft. Check in on your body. Is any area still frozen? Notice that tightness. Melt it if you wish. Rest here. Breathe. Eyes are open or closed. Next time you feel frozen, in your mind or in your body, try to melt it away.